dreams, transforming your ideas to come true. God has given us wisdom to inspire our world, to make our generation, Nigeria, a better place. Thank God He's given.
Hello and welcome to another interesting edition of Word for Youth, a program designed to enlighten and to reshape youth mindsets. It will be an interesting and observing program as professionals and analysts will be elucidating youths on issues that matter. I'm your host, Khadija Mohammed. On today's discussion, we'll be talking about suicide, the high prevalence of suicide, and its connection to drug abuse. It's been reported by World Health Organization that over 1 million people died annually to suicide. Suicide has become a menace, a disturbing and alarming issue that calls for urgent attention. World Health Organization has reports that over 1 million people lose their life to suicide worldwide annually, meaning at least one death occurs from suicide every 40 seconds. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among adolescents aged between 15 and 19 years old. Although there is no accurate data on suicide occurrence in Nigeria, but World Health Organization has said that in 100,000 cases of suicide, 15,000 occurs in Nigeria, making it the fifth leading country where suicide occurs the most. The question here is, how did we get here as a nation? Why are youths taking to suicide as the solutions to their problem? These and many issues calling for attention will be discussed after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In our previous edition, we discussed the high prevalence of drug abuse and ways to manage it. The issue before us today is suicide, and joining me to talk more on it is the University Chief Counseling Psychologist, Head Counseling Unit, Federal University Lokoja, Chief Ben T.Y. Aina. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
As usual, we have some youth in the studio. Thank you all for joining us. It won't be right for us to start talking about suicide without first knowing the definition. Chief, as a psychologist, how would you define suicide?
Well, to the layman, I would just say suicide is a willful termination of one's life. But it could still be subjective. I think the best way I would explain it is suicide is self-termination of one's life.
What are the factors that could influence someone to commit suicide?
Well, there are so many factors that can cause suicide or can initiate suicide. How about many of them that can cause suicide? But the most important one is the individual. The individual has a life to live and he faces a lot of things around him. And if the individual is better managed, then he can resolve some of those things that can actually influence suicide. And so we have a lot of them, about 9 of them. Or thereabouts.
Can you give us examples, sir?
Well, suicide, just as I said, is to kill oneself or to terminate one's life. As a human being, we have different situations in life that we come through and we pass through. There are times when you have pains. Pains, once in a while it comes and goes. And there are situations where you are happy. If you're happy today, the next moment you could be sad. So that sadness that is opposite of happiness, when it comes constantly and one is not able to resolve it, one becomes frustrated. And once you become frustrated, you go into what is called stressful situation. And when they are not managed, you go into depression. And once you go into that depression and it's not managed, then you begin to feel guilty. That individual feels guilty. So some of the symptoms that an individual that is likely going to commit suicide feels guilty. He does not forgive himself. He sees there is no other chance. And he feels that the Berlin Wall has come, that there's not going to be another morning, even though there's a thick night. And he feels that he should just end it. And so I think that's an example of one of the causes, that pertains to the individual, trying to commit suicide, or that might commit suicide.
According to the report made public by World Health Organization, it is reported that 90% of suicide committed are attributed to mental health illness.
Well, suicide is a mental health issue, but you see, by the time we look at the causes of the ones I said I have, you understand that yes, it's a mental health issue. Somebody is not happy today and constantly is not happy, and nobody to talk to here and there. You discover that not everyone is a mental issue actually, and it needs mental, public health, and to actually handle. That might not be far-fetched, but by the time we begin to look at some of those causes, which will help us to look at the causes is better, then we can appreciate the causes of suicide. Every human being has its good times and bad times. It comes. Just as you fall in love and you fall out of love, you are hungry here and there. That's the way every human being is. Every human being that can be annoyed, they're all mental issues. And so what we are trying to say is that it's not necessarily that when you see somebody, they say sako. That's what people normally say. And, but that does not really mean that everybody you see is free. Everyone in the society has one or two problems or the other, but it depends on the way you manage it. That's the problem that can lead to suicide. Look at some of the causes. You see, when we talk about suicide, particularly in Africa and Nigeria that we are, it's not a very common thing. You see people killing themselves. It's not very common. Yes, you have what is called effects of negative globalization. The world has become a global village. You see a lot of things. There are sites in the world now on net where people can read on how to kill themselves, and look at things, look at films that actually encourage killing. That's one of the things. Globalization has actually encouraged, serious, killing. You hear about Afghanistan those days, and people killing themselves, tying bombs around their neck, and waist and here and there. We never heard of that in Nigeria, but that has become a very common thing now. One thing that is very, very common and leads to suicide is the use of drug. I've had opportunities since 1986 to date to speak on drug abuse and among children, among youths, and in university and higher institutions, among the military and hear about. One thing is that most suicides, people that are into substance abuse are likely going to, most of them, a high percent of them, commit suicide. Because when you look at, suicide could come in different forms. It could come violently, it could come using drugs, it could come jumping into a river, it could come climbing something, it could use gun, it could use anything and to kill himself. It could even come through rough sex and many other things like that can actually happen. And so the use of drug, the effect of drug, particularly when it comes, to relapse stage or when they are still really elated, it can lead things you will not ordinarily do. Because when you are into drugs, when you are high, there are some actions that you take ordinarily, you wouldn't take them except, yes. So drugs, the abuse of drugs is very high in the society, and the tendency that most people that use drugs, actually, commit suicide. Trauma. What do I mean by trauma? Trauma is a kind of terrible experience, like somebody has an accident, or he loses one of his limbs, A young boy traveling and he loses his eyes, he might not, if he's not handled well, he will tell you he will better throw in the towel. And so such trauma, raping a woman, most women, if they are raped, they will prefer to die than live to tell the story. So when you go through trauma, some traumas, as I've said, they are usually unpleasant, and they must, be actually counseled, and they have to go through, behavior therapy and other things. Otherwise, unmanaged trauma will actually lead to
one committing suicide.
Yes, can encourage suicide failures.
Is it also possible for one to be inherit the trait of suicide? Yes.
Well, there are traits. There are some behavioral problems that one can inherit, and there are just like human behavior. There's the one we learned and the ones that are not learned. Yes, some families that have occurrence of such before have higher probability, of it recurring in their family. And so that is if they follow those paths. But it doesn't mean that because the father committed suicide, that you too must commit suicide if you follow and you are actually, taken care of.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, and failure in love. Yes, or disappointment in love. People, to love somebody is a serious emotional attachment. And once love is there's breaking love, you're cheated, people can kill. People kill because of love, and they can get themselves killed. And so it's a very serious thing in society. You see people dying. Why did you, go out with my husband? Why did you disappoint me? And see that they just, jump from river and die. In exams and schools, we have exams. One of the things that that is commonly done in schools is what? Is exams. You write exams and pass exams.
Yes.
And so, results of exams are used as indices for success. Results of exams are used for certificate. And in Nigeria, certificates are used for employment. And certificates are used for different things. And so when somebody, goes into a university or goes into a polytechnic or a college of education, even secondary school, and he fails, we have seen students hanging themselves after secondary school or during secondary school results release. We have university students that have failed or have one or two carryovers, and you see them committing suicide. Because of the attachment, the value that is attached to exams.
Yes.
When people fail exams, some people feel that the end of the road has come. And so, if they are not hurt, what do? They kill themselves. Or they find a way of eliminating their life. And I've also said that, for a very long time, I also said that to people that come my way, that youths go into cultism in institutions. I've had opportunity to talk about it. And one thing is that most activities of cults, some cults will tell you kill. You can kill yourself and sacrifice yourself for your group. That doing that will actually give you reward. And so activities of cults and wrong religious beliefs. We have had places of worship that have taken some poison, and we have seen people tie bombs, say you make heaven, you do a lot of things. Wrong religious belief encourage suicide. And so, which is very prevalent in the society. And so, cult activities, wrong religious belief, encourage, suicide. And it accounts for major, suicide in Nigeria. And you'll be hearing people, suicide is a bomb here and there, and many other things.
Okay.
Yes.
At this stage, let me pause you, so we'll go on a short break.
All right.
Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Still on the issue of suicide. With me in the studio is still Chief Ben Aina, the Chief Psychologist, Federal University, Lokoja. Chief, before we allow some of our youths in the studio to ask questions, how can suicide be discouraged among youths and adolescents?
Well, you see, before you actually begin to talk about how suicide can be discouraged, you must know the causes. Just as I said, if somebody is having headache, if you don't know the cause of headache, you can't actually profound solution. Like I've mentioned some few of them, but before we go, it's always in my tradition. Let's just run for 1 minute and look at it. Yes, debts, financial embarrassment could cause what? Could cause suicide. We have seen people that have committed suicide because they are owing a lot of debt, because they have financial embarrassment, people that do not have job. Many youths in the society are running here and there is no job for them. They can't meet their needs. And you want to talk about how you solve the problem? Somebody that cannot provide for his feeding, and there's no social security, and you don't want him to join bad gangs. They all interwoven. They positively, they negatively, correlate with one another. And you discover that if you must actually give, valid opinion and suggestions on how to solve some of those problems, you must look at somebody that has graduated for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, and has not got a job, and is not happy because they don't have a godfather. Are you going to tell me he's not going to take drugs? Are you going to tell me he's not going to join court? Are you going to tell me if he sees what will kill him and let me go, my mates are already making it? And so the problem of non-employment, the problem of courts, the prevalence of courtism in the society, they all combine together to cause problem of suicide, and it's becoming rampant. And so if we must solve some of those problems, we must discover that we reduce some of those problems that actually reinforce suicide attempts. Yes. I don't know whether I've answered your question.
Of course, we know there are economic downturns and recession all over the world. But what we are trying to know here is why there are still some people that are facing the same challenges that will result to seeking, I would say, looking for other means to survive. Of course, we know family issues and financial breakdown. But why are we? Do you think these people related to suicide as a solution?
Well, do you know that there are some countries whereby even suicide is allowed? You just walk in there, go to suicide hospital, and you tell them you want to die, and they allow you. Then they kill you. You take something and you die. Yes. You see, let me just come back to your question. Okay. I had a student referred to me from University of Ilorin from Lagos. He was withdrawn from 300 level, experienced reside in Lagos, and he had that there is a psychologist. So he was referred to me. He had attempted suicide twice, and his parents did not know. He was withdrawn 300 level. And by the time I listened to him and went through therapy, psychotherapy, and other things for about, 2 days thereabout, he told me, and I asked the mother, go and check your son's diary under his pillow in Lagos. He was with me here in Lokoja. And they checked and they saw the suicidal note he left. Now, the guy has gone through the problems he had. They don't care for me. I have nobody to listen to. These are common problems I have. When I did this one, I couldn't do that one. I couldn't do that one. And so, at the end of the day, by the time we were able to look at him and work with him, the guy is in another university and is running the 4 point and being happy. And so, most people that want to commit suicide, they want people to listen to them. They want people to help them. Because one thing that is common with suicide is that you see that they don't want to die. They want people to listen to them. You will look, there are indices that you can know that somebody is about committing suicide or is going through some stressful situations. And once you're able to help that person resolve such situations, then the person will be okay. Just like when you have a tire and you have a flat tire, the organizer opens the tire and opens the tube. When he sees that the tube is bad, he patches it and inflates it. That is the ego of man. Individuals who want to commit suicide or attempt to commit suicide, their egos are deflated. And the moment you're able to inflate their ego, they will bounce back. And in the right time, they will recover most of the time.
That is, will get their self-confidence back.
Yes, get their self-confidence back and try to see what individual problems are, and you solve the problem. You resolve it.
If you are watching us and you want to contribute or react to the issue, you can send your comments to our various social media platforms displayed on your screen. And of course, our phone number is also there. You can message us. Please don't call. It's now time for our youth in the house to ask questions if they have any.
I heard you talk about depression. What do you think is the best way to handle depression?
It has been like hostile in the tertiary institutions from which students killing themselves maybe because of failure in exams, as you've said in the course of the discussion. These schools have psychologists like yourself. Why do you think this has been the case for a long time now?
My name is Michael Esther. My question is that these suicide issues, can we relate suicide to the killing of people in our country now, like just Boko Haram or something like that? Is it part of the suicide or what?
I'm Donald Victor. I graduated from Imo State University. I studied theatre art. So, you know what you've said. You mentioned depression as causes of suicide. Now, I've seen prominent people that are very happy. Through happiness, they also commit suicide. Can we also say happiness as is a way of committing suicide?
You asked the question that how can depression be handled? The best way to handle depression is through a psychiatrist and psychologist. It will normally involve drug and behavior therapy that the psychologist will handle with the individual. The best thing to do is anybody that feels not happy for a very long time, you can't sleep, try and see a psychiatrist or see a psychologist. And when you say see a psychiatrist, it doesn't mean that you are mad. And so I want to disabuse the mind of the people, just telling you that you need to see the doctor or the engineer that will make your car to run well. Thank you. Esther, you talk about you asked the question, why is suicide rampant? I've told you, just as like Matthias, I've given the causes of suicide in institutions. Drug abuse is becoming very, very common and very rampant in society. People rarely can't work to get money when they want to work and get money. And there are so many causes. All these reinforce one another, negatively. And the homes are no longer homes. Parents cannot be seen at home to be there for the children. And so the churches are not there. And so our support system is actually bad and faulty in the society. And so institutions that want to reduce this must have good counseling centers and do things that will make them to be able to express themselves. And some institutions will create problems. There must be palliative something. Let government give bursary, feeding. Those days we used to have money. We used to have 15 naira and eat in the calf. People cannot even eat now. Let there be practical things by individuals in the society. Churches, mosques, people that have money here and there. So it's a collective thing that you need to do. And yes, I said, when I was defining suicide, I say it's a willful termination of what? Yes, and termination of life. You see, some people commit suicide when they're happy. On their bad day, you see a lot of people die on their bad day. Happiness intoxicates too, just like sorrow, and just like Indian hymn. When you go into a party without even taking anything, and you listen to music, high-sounding music stimulates your brain, and it makes you high, makes you happy, and gives you the same effect, just like you have taken your high. And so people that are really happy too, if you don't manage it well, you can actually kill yourself, because what can give you joy might at the same time lead you to your death. And so, summarily, institutions and organizations should have supportive things that will make people to be able to relieve their stress, their depression, their frustration, and give hope to people. Because even though the night might be thick, there's always joy in the morning.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation today, sir.
Thank you. Khadijat.
We hope you join us next time.
If you invite me, I'll come.
Okay, thank you very much.
I will have a time.
To everyone out there, thank you for watching another edition of our program. To our youths, let's be patient and optimistic. For your information, the city of Rome was not built in a day. Suicide can never be an option to solving life problems. Rather, be determined and hopeful, because you don't know what life has in store for you. I leave you with this saying by Harriet Stowe, and I quote, "When you get into a tight place and everything goes against you, till it seems as though you cannot hang on a minute longer, never give up then, for that is the place and time that tide will turn." Thank you. I remain your host, Khadijat Mohammed. Do join me for another edition of the program, same time, same station next week. Remember to always follow us on our various social media platforms, and you can also watch our previous edition on our YouTube channel, Word for Youth TV. Thank you.
Grace to run. Thank God we've got the strength in us. Thank God that we were born to win. Just stay strong, yeah. Don't give up. Don't give up now.